Well, Amy, I am holding a gigantic Clorox bottle because I'm going to need something to clean up all of the shit that you and I are about to talk about.
I love that visual.
That I'm. I was thinking me just holding a Clorox bottle, but you're thinking you and I on our hands and knees cleaning up shit with those Clorox wipes.
Alexis really thought she did something there.
Yeah, she kind of had a hard time getting it out. Or, like she didn't have it. It's one of those things where you tee it up in your brain and you're like, I got to get this out. And it puts too much pressure on it. She kind of flubbed the line a little bit.
She should join Roni. That's on
Yeah.
par with something Jenna Lyons would do.
Yes. Oh, they would love that. Do you think Clorox has the monopoly on stuff to clean shit up with?
They definitely did very well during COVID.
Oh, right. Don't remind me. Oh, right. I forgot how much Clorox I had.
Remember when we were like spraying our groceries with like bleach?
Yeah, yeah. I was big into that. I was saying, I was like, Megan, did you make sure to bleach the vegetables that we're about to eat?
We were like Adrian Malouf washing the chicken with soap.
Totally. Yeah, you saying that, I'm like, that happened, but it's like, it's true. I was pretty close to dunking my apples in bleach and everything.
Yeah,
Thank God it's over.
Buying toilet paper at like a taco restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so horrible, but for the most part now, I think hopefully we're in the clear. Before we get into this episode, first of all, I have to say this is a world, or not a world record, but this is going to be the record for the most Turtle Time episodes in one day, right?
It's true. We're burning the morning oil early for me.
Me too. We've never recorded at night. This is going to be a peek behind the curtain, but 9:40 a.m. I'm like, I just woke up. I had, a horrible night's sleep, obviously. I'm sure you slept like shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's too important. It's OC
Yeah.
finale day.
Exactly. Which we didn't even realize at first. And then we were like, oh, this really is an occasion. And I watched both this new one from last night and last week's back to back. And there's a lot of action in them.
Oh yeah, it's so action packed. It's like new developments are happening, so you have to cover that penultimate episode to really dissect the finale. So we're going to get into both of them, and it's kind of good that they're together.
Yeah.
It makes us being negligent, lazy.
It was what we intended.
Yeah, this is perfect for us. Before we get into it, I know that you did something very special on Halloween night. I didn't do anything. I had to just watch OC episodes. I wanted to watch a scary movie so bad, but I knew I had to do work. So I had a horrible night. But you told me you did one of the scariest things a human can do. You went into a movie theater and you watched The Exorcist.
I did. I was telling the people I was with had not seen it, and they were like, I've always been too scared. And I'm like, it's not that scary. Like it's like more sad, I think. And also the demon, to me, as a lover of little stinkers, is like one of the ultimate stinkers of all time.
Pazuzu, right?
Yeah. I don't think they utter Pazuzu, but yeah, yes.
Maybe in the is it Egypt or the
maybe,
Iraq part or something?
Yeah.
And they show him once, right? They show Pazuzu.
Like
they give
flashes.
So
Yeah.
this is what I remember, and you tell me how it hits in theaters. But I remember being like, it's like an hour and a half of like, this is real as hell, like documentary style, like. Science can't explain what's going on with Reagan. Let's talk to a doctor first. Let's talk to a psychiatrist first. Then it's like, wait, no. This is she just peed on the carpet, and her head, she's barfing green stuff. We got to take this to another level. And then the last 45 minutes, if I remember correctly, are the full everything that people remember about The Exorcist, and it's scary as hell, in my opinion. That part. So how did it hit in the theaters? Was it like that?
It was good. It got a lot of laughs, actually, because it's just like so insane, the shit that she says,
Yeah,
like,
yes.
Like she tells one priest to fuck the other one in the ass and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I love that, like, I don't know, I just appreciate it as like, because now when you go see one in any exorcism movie or anything like that, they just like take all the nastiest parts and it's just consolidated down into the like horror elements. And this one is like an adult movie about like a single woman like raising a daughter, like trying to figure out this health crisis. Like it's a very like adult movie. Like it's just like a drama essentially, and then it like turns into like all hell breaks loose, you know?
Yes.
But it's like it's really just sad, I think. Also, it's sad and funny, but it's like I forgot that it's like really upsetting watching them trying to figure out the issue. Like she has to get all these like 1970s ass like spinal taps and like scans and stuff, and it looks horrible.
Yeah, it's about them getting to their wits' end with all of this sort of horrible like surgery type modern medicine. It tests the limits of that, and then it goes, no, this is supernatural. We got to get this priest in here. The only thing I don't like is I wish that they didn't make Max van Sydow. I don't know if that's how you say his name. Why did he have to have old age makeup? He looks like it looks like shit. It's like, why couldn't he just be 40? I
think that you were meant to think that he really went through it last time. Like he is always like shaking with the pill bottle. Like I think he was like barely survived his last exorcism, and he tries to do it again and it doesn't work out.
He's got some mileage on him.
Totally.
I absolutely sorry, go ahead.
I always forget, like every time I watch it and it starts, I'm like, oh yeah, it starts in Iraq. Like I always forget that curveball.
Yeah, I love that part. I also love the actor Damian Karras, who's the actor who plays
Jason
him. Was
Miller, I think.
He was like a writer. He never acted before. It was his first role, and he absolutely kills it.
He has great
Karras.
heart.
Yeah, he's a wonderful character. And then now, I told you already before you went to see Exorcist, but now if you love The Exorcist, everybody has to stop what they're doing and watch The Exorcist 3. It shouldn't have been called The Exorcist 3 because that acknowledges that The Exorcist 2 exists, which has nothing to do with the original movie in terms of the creative team. So Exorcist 3 is actually a direct sequel to Exorcist 1, and it's amazing. It is such a fun film. Everybody will love it.
I'll totally watch it this weekend. I'm laying low this weekend. But...
Did anybody get scared? I'm sorry to keep talking about The Exorcist, but at the last 30 minutes, did people stop their laughter and say, whoa, I'm getting a little scared? Or is it too outdated now that it doesn't have the same impact?
There were definitely gasps. Like, there were certain, like, reveals and stuff where people were like, holy shit,
Yeah.
But I think it was a lot of people that were dressed up and stuff, so I think it was a lot of horror fans that have probably seen it like a lot. So it was kind of like all their favorite lines, like "Your mother sucks cocks in hell" and stuff like that.
Were they saying that stuff?
Your mother sucks cocks in hell.
Or people brought green barf.
Yeah, the pea soup.
Or someone wore a face on the back of their head, so you'd think that their head had been spinning in the theater.
I remember watching. Like, I don't know where I watched this, if it was on like I Love the 70s or something, but like, or if I watched a featurette or whatever, but like William Friedkin really just like flung Ellen Burstyn around, and like she got hurt. Like, he really doesn't give a shit about safety from what I've heard over the years.
No, he's a pretty awful guy, willing to go the distance on any actor to get the best out of him. There was one priest in that movie who was an actual priest who wasn't acting very well. And William Friedkin said, okay, we're ready for your next take. You're really acting like shit. And then he goes, so right before he started rolling, he just slapped the shit out of the priest as hard as he could so that the priest would be rattled during his scene and be on the verge of tears.
Oh, no.
Friedkin just slapped him in the face like that.
That's horrible.
It's awful.
He has a good roster, though. He got results.
Oh, yeah. Whatever it takes. You know our motto. Whatever you do in life, whatever it takes to get the result you need is.
Dustin Hoffman, throw a drink at Meryl. You know she needs that.
Absolutely.
She can't act good without that.
I love stories about hearing, like, obviously when David O. Russell was on the set of I Heart Huckabees, you know that Lily Tomlin was not giving her A game, so he had to scream his ass off and throw chalk at her or whatever the hell he was doing. It's whatever it takes, David O. Russell, whatever it takes, William Friedkin. Oh, last movie talk. I sent you this, direct messaged you. I don't think you saw it yet, but people have Conclave fever. I want triple time. You are when?
Saturday.
I don't want to hype it up too much, because I hate doing that. But I just wanted to acknowledge that you were right about Conclave. You said there's this movie. I don't know what the hell it's about. These popes and they're spinning the dust around, and and
I
the
love
doves.
multiple popes.
Yeah, multiple popes in the conclave, and I just saw one of my favorite podcasts, The Big Picture. It was Chris Ryan and Sean Finney, and they said they went into conclave. They said people were spinning their heads around like The Exorcist, cheering, and
Oh
they
my
gave
God.
a standing ovation at the AMC Burbank 16.
I saw that there were people dressed as popes at the AMC. I think I love when people glom onto like the
They're-
most random shit. It's like my
they're,
favorite
they're
thing.
trying to make it
Um,
Barbenheimer. It's just
yeah,
conclave by itself.
I have to cleanse out the Exorcist with
Yeah.
Conclave to make a full circle.
It's fully like this. You could call it the sequel. It's like the priests are done with what happened in The Exorcist, and now they're ready to focus on what really matters, whatever the hell is going on in Conclave. I love Ray Fiennes, so I should have known
Yeah.
that it would be good. Like you just can watch movies with actors you love, and you have a chance of it being good. So I'm ready. Now I caught the fever that you were talking about, and
Great.
I'm
Yeah.
ready to watch it.
I'll text you after, let you know. I'm sure I'll love it though.
Please send me something cryptic that it was good. Like I don't know how you do that. Like 3 or 4 emojis that signify how good it was.
The smoke is coming out of the Vatican or whatever.
Something like that. Okay, enough stuff at the front.
That was the movie minute.
Yeah. You told me about Cinematrix this morning. We won't go into it, but there are some real huge things on Cinematrix this morning. You said Katie Holmes,
Steve Martin, David Krumholtz.
yeah. So we won't get into that, but I know that you have made a lot of people turn to Cinematrix for comfort during these times. So I like that. Okay, so we're going to start off by talking about last week's episode, which I know people wanted to hear about it. It was called Sunday Roasted.
Yes.
Now, why the hell was it called that?
Well, they went to that little Shire restaurant and they were, I mean, they did order food. I think we cut away before they ate it, but was it Gina that was like, this is my first Sunday roast? And then I guess it's like Shannon got roasted.
Oh, that's it? I didn't know that Gina said Sunday roast, and
Yeah.
you have to think the what's it called when it's the roasted means Shannon was absolutely roasted at the table.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense to me now. So first off, we get more of London. I was so excited that London wasn't over. They do everything that people want to do in London. They go to caviar shop. They get caviar. I think they ordered a beef Wellington. They make sure that the king is in the Windsor Castle. They say that when the flag is up that has King Charles's face on it, that means he is within the castle. And I was like, I wonder if he knows that the cast of OC is there in London right now.
Yeah, they had a flag above the restaurant with a little orange on it.
Wow. It's like you communicate with each other knowing who prominent is in these different buildings.
Yeah, you can look at a little map and it has all the little flags.
Yeah, I'm so in the London world, not to speak about personal stuff, but I've been reading this Bill Bryson book about Shakespeare. It's one of the best books I've ever read. It's so short. It's everything in the world about Shakespeare, and he is, obviously London plays a huge role in this.
Yeah.
So this couldn't have been better timed for me. They go to the Abbey Road street, but I'm not 100% sure if it was Abbey Road.
It looked different.
Yeah, because the street said "Do not stand here" or like no entry or something, and it didn't look at all like the cover of Abbey Road.
Yeah, I had the same thought where I was like, I think they're just doing that in general, but it didn't look like it. And do you think that Tamara's full of shit
Yeah, I
about
do.
not knowing all the Beatles?
I'm glad
Like,
you said it.
She's in her 50s.
I mean, first of all, here's the tell. No one forgets Paul McCartney.
Right.
I mean, John Lennon, Paul McCartney. I understand missing George Harrison, but she said Ringo. She said John Lennon and Ringo. I can't imagine she forgot Paul McCartney, not the only, but a living Beatle who had the most impact in the Beatles.
Yeah.
It seemed like playing dumb a little bit. Elton John, she said. I was like, Tamara, just admit you know who Paul McCartney is.
Yeah.
Unless she's a huge Ringo Starr fan and her favorite songs are Octopus's Garden.
She loves his solo stuff.
Yellow Submarine. Oh yeah. Oh right. I forget some of Ringo's solo albums, but yeah. So that kind of stuff was fun. Not the best. I guess I'm still wanting a little more, or I wish there was a little more from this London trip, but I don't know. They hit a lot of the major stuff.
But yeah, it basically just picked right up in the hotel room after Jen storms off or whatever. And Heather is mediating, but it is weird that Heather all of a sudden really decided to side with Tamra in general. Like, I don't like it, but I guess she knows what happened last year when she had no allies.
Yeah, is it like you want Tamara on your side? You know she'll turn on you at some point, but while she's being good to you, she's a great person to have as an ally. Is that kind of Heather's approach to Tamara this season? Because Tamara was the absolute worst to Heather last season.
Right. It's giving like Jackie Goldschneider, like being like, if you can't beat him, join him. Like, fuck it. I'll just kiss Teresa's ass to be protected.
Yes, totally. Yeah. There's a little bit of that. And I think Jen had a good remark. She said Heather was sticking up for Tamara, and Jen goes, Heather, you couldn't even take Katie calling you out for paparazzi photos at Disneyland. You won't even admit that that's true, and now you're telling me to forgive Tamara for saying that the FBI is going to raid my boyfriend's house. It's like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like since when? But we get some. I'm kind of obsessed with this tea that Tamra drops because Tamra's trying to weasel her way out and throw everyone else under the bus about all of this. But she tells Heather that a guy at the gym, where I'm like, this gym is like freaking page 6. Like everyone knows everything. Some guy at the gym went up and told her that Ryan was selling timeshares in another country while never building them and collecting the HOA money. And I was like, that's giving classic scam.
Yeah, the perfect crime, I said. Because, I mean, I think it's not cool, but I mean, do you think that, did that really happen? Because wouldn't he have gone to jail for that, or other people implicated in the crime went?
People did go to jail.
Okay.
And this is where the basis of the research or whatever, because apparently Leslie Beador, is that David's sister or something?
I thought it was possibly. Yeah. Well, I'd have to look into that. Yeah, I had it fully wrong. I'll have to
they didn't say.
Yeah, they were just like, everyone knows Leslie Beador, and I was like, who the hell is that? You want me to look it up?
Leslie Beador's ex-husband was named amongst the criminals.
No, Leslie Beador. This is what I thought was his wife after Shannon. But then
that makes sense that she would want to go the distance. Then
things went a little south for them. So yeah, there was that new tidbit that Tamra wanted to highlight. And a huge part of what Tamra is doing, this is an arc, so I can say it now, is she wants to say everything that you are accusing me of. Shannon was in the wings, attached to the hip with me in all of these accusations. So if you would just look back at that text message that said, I'm doing a background check on Ryan. Tamra saying, look at Shannon's text right before. It'll be saying, I know a lawyer. Let's get to the bottom of this. So it is true. I believe it fully that Shannon and Tamra love to do this kind of stuff. They were thinking about it all the time. What can we get on people? What can we do? And then that leads into then, I can say it now. Tamra also says, hey, Gina, you may think that you're such good friends with Shannon Beador now, and you're loving life here with Shannon. But guess what? Look what else Shannon did. Last reunion, Shannon wanted us to bring up at the reunion that you shoved Travis down the stairs with your full might, and brings that up. So that's a new accusation completely. And then you could tell that Gina is mad at Tamra for saying it on camera, no matter who was doing it, conspiring to do it.
Basically said, like, thank you for entering that into evidence here.
Right.
But I like how Tamra tried to shoehorn it in. Like she thought she had it perfectly because Gina kept saying, it worries me that you did this background check because it makes me wonder, would you do that to me too? Which I'm like, why do you keep saying that? And then Tamara was like, that hurts my feelings because Shannon's the one that looked into your background or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently it was like, I mean, we'll get into it, but Travis's supposedly psycho ex-wife is the one that accused. She basically painted a picture of a house of horrors.
I know.
Of Gina and Travis, saying she shoves him down the stairs, she picks him up over her head and spins him around and throws him out the window.
Gina was like, she keeps saying that I'm bigger than him and that I toss him around like a doll in my house. I couldn't get.
No, it is. It's funny because it's ridiculous, I think.
I couldn't get the image of Gina shoving Travis down the stairs and him having to, like, roll down. It was horrible.
She
it's just like
stands on top of the bunk bed, like wrestling ropes and jumps off.
I was like, poor Travis. I was like, I hope this isn't real. Gina says that Travis's ex-wife is committed to ruining her life, and she keeps saying all these scandalous accusations. It totally reminded me. We talk about the staircase a lot. It's like this could not get any closer to that in any way. So Gina doesn't care for the fact that Tamara says it, and also Gina says, like, the fact that Tamara would bring this up makes me just as mad at Tamara as Shannon having anything to do with it.
I know. Not to, like, we can just talk about this as a topic, but, like, it is funny that Tamara thought it was such a, like, killer smoking gun, and ultimately Gina was like, well, she didn't move forward with the plan, so
yeah.
At least Shannon appears to be working on herself, whereas Tamara continues to do this bullshit time and again.
Yes, and that leads into Jen's philosophy on Shannon as well, on Shannon and Tamara. Jen's like, Tamara, you can tell me that Shannon was involved in all this shit. I know that's probably true. But when Shannon apologizes and says, I'm working on myself, I believe her. Whereas nobody fucking believes Tamara because Tamara has proved again and again to ruin relationships with anyone, no matter what, to serve her purposes. So it's kind of interesting that it does completely backfire. And then can I also introduce the last new huge scandal we get while they're sitting around eating beef Wellington and full English breakfasts and bangers and mash. So this was kind of a big deal to me because I kind of fully got swayed. I thought one thing and then I completely got convinced of another thing. But Tamara says, or I forget how it gets brought up. Tamara goes, you got to hear what Katie's daughter said to me when we were at that
like Color
earring
Me
store.
Wine or whatever. Oh,
Color Me Wine or an axe throwing event. She goes, Kylie, that's her name, right?
Yeah.
Kylie goes, Tamara, you'll get a load of this. When I went to babysit Emily Simpson's kids, which is kind of funny that Kylie babysat the kids. You should hear how those boys were talking about Heather. They said, we don't like Heather. She's so mean. She's bossy to my mom. And then you see Tamara's face and she's like, whoa, I'm going to use this for all it's worth. I don't know who I'm going to attack with this information, but I can't wait to use this.
The little boys are like on the jungle gym and they're like, Heather denies having a contact at page 6, and but we know very well that they call the Paps and they go to Craig's in Hollywood all the time, and like I don't believe a word they fucking say.
Look how she was pointing in the photo at Splash Mountain. It clearly looks like they were trying to make her and Terry have a good relationship after the cheating accusations. But okay, but then I was like, I don't know. I was like, I believe this a little bit because Emily, I know, secretly hates Heather and wants to take Heather down and does think that Heather looks down her nose at her. So I could imagine Emily letting a stray thought about Heather out to her 9-year-olds. So at first I was like, the reaction to Heather learning this, I was like, you're immediately using this against Katie without thinking about it for 1 second. You're immediately like, this is wrong. This is a lie. Katie is using children which is despicable, to slander my character. I was like, let's give Katie a little bit of grace here. That's where I stood up until a point, but I'm not gonna spoil it until the dinner.
I will say they do kind of act like, because I think what she said, they're 9 years old.
9. That's enough time to hate.
I'm like, they're kind of acting like they're like 4. Like
yeah. They're
And I'm
9.
like, 9-year-olds know what the hell is going on.
We find out that a 6-year-old knew what was going on. Not to step on it, but kids are capable of harboring hate.
Yeah, but I like that Emily's like, I would never discuss adult material in front of my kids.
So Emily says this. So Emily goes, Heather, I didn't even want to bring this up. I knew this was coming from me like a snowball turning it into an avalanche. But just so you know, my kids don't even know who the fuck you are at all. And they're 9, and they would never say this. And then Gina gives Emily all the grace in the world. She's like, she goes, Emily was not lying when she told us this. Absolutely not. This is fully completely fake storyline that Katie is trying. And they all go, Katie's a liar.
Yeah.
I can't believe how deceitful she is. And I was like, Katie is not horrible, you guys.
Gina's like, I can't believe what a liar Katie is. And Heather, I like when Heather gets so indignant where she goes, oh, yeah, using a child as a megaphone is a different level of insanity.
The bowels of hell. We are at the different level of purgatory than I've ever seen from these. Disgusting. I'm surprised she didn't say vile. Despicable. But she said disgusting.
And
and she goes,
I do kind of like the fuck around and find out mentality of like a newbie trying to like go hard to like take people down, and then all of a sudden everyone's loyalty changes and it's like, actually fuck you. Like Tamra's like, yeah, like Katie really has a hard on for Heather. She's like fucking obsessed. Like what the hell? Like it's kind of funny to me when like someone tries to carve a path and people seemingly participate and then they're like, never mind. The wind's blowing towards Heather. Fuck Katie. Emily says something horrible about Katie, which I still like Katie. I find merit to Katie, but Emily's like, Katie wants to wear your skin like a suit, Heather. And I was like, is that really what we think is happening here? Katie is so obsessed with Heather that she's trying to take her down. So that was so a lot of this episode was like, whoa, new stuff. Gina pushing Travis, Shannon being behind the Ryan background check. Now this babysitter scandal. Like they were really, really making some new stuff happen in London that we had to pay attention to. All the while, Shannon is completely compacted, filled with shit.
Yes, we should have said this. You can see, you just look at Emily's face and Shannon's face, their shit meter is filled to the brim. It's almost up to their eyes. Shannon has so much, I'm just going to say it, shit, that her stomach hurts.
She was screaming.
She was screaming from pain, which we all know what that feels like.
That's so embarrassing. Like, just like, don't come down from your room. Like,
yeah, I know. Gina goes, can you F-bomb? And they go, no, I can't even let out an F.
and they literally have like Katie like runs out to buy an enema, which I'm like, Shannon's obsessed with enemas. This is the second time, or maybe even third time we've watched her administer an enema. She
loves them so much, and then even Emily wants to get in on this shit, being filled with shit. She goes, Katie, the pills you gave me, they're working now, at the etiquette class, where it's like, that is, out of all the etiquette, that's almost probably rule number 3 or 4. Don't talk about having to blow out.
She was like talking about being about to shit her pants, and then they cut to the etiquette coach for effect. And that was classic.
Yeah, that was great. Sorry, I just had a malfunction over here. So what else am I missing? Because those were the 3 big, huge moments that carry us over to the finale. But was there anything else? I guess to finish it out, my thoughts were Shannon at the end. So we get to the point where everyone is confronting everyone about everything at this beef Wellington dinner. They completely don't take in their etiquette lessons at all to heart. And Tamra says, I think it's her peach and pit or something. Yeah. She immediately brings it up to Shannon, saying, the worst part of my trip was when Shannon used Jen against me to ruin our friendship. And Shannon's fuse at this point, I mean, you have to imagine, she's got shit up to her ears. She's so tired that her trip, her 4-day trip, has had every day gone wrong. Not one fun day. So she immediately goes, Tamra, I'm so fucking sick of you lying about me. And you can tell she's sick. And Tamra goes, you're a liar and you're a drunk. Yeah. Right back at her. And then everyone says, Tamra, please stop calling her drunk. Stop calling her an alcoholic. And then Shannon goes, I'm completely fed up and done with this. And she leaves. And I didn't know it was like this, but she leaves the entire trip, leaves the dinner, mic off, and goes home on a different flight early. It was like game over after that.
Yeah. She also, there's like one other piece of drama is that Shannon finds out that Heather told everyone about that she thinks John heard the crash or whatever. And so they have like a one-on-one, and Heather's like, I wasn't under the impression that I wasn't allowed to talk about that. And then they show the clip, and Shannon's like crying and like, I just don't want the group to talk about this. And Heather says, this doesn't have to go to the group. Like, it seems very clear that it's an intimate moment. So I don't know like why Heather's pretending that it's not.
Well, here, I believe Heather. I believe Heather.
Yeah.
So I thought that language was kind of ambiguous. I think it's clear, but also I just could imagine that I don't know fully if Shannon meant don't tell anyone that, because that's what you would say if you say don't tell anyone else. And then Heather, I think she goes, I'm going to call bullshit on this one, Shannon. She says, I already knew this story. I already knew about the photo. Tamra told me. So the fact that Tamra already knew that this was happening, it means that I thought this was par for the course for this group. I think that's the perfect get out of jail free card. And then Shannon just doesn't even acknowledge that Tamra knew that. She tries to still just stick with her narrative that Heather is the only one that knew. But to me, that's all the evidence I need that Heather thought that the group was going to know, especially if Tamra knew.
Right. And Heather uses that opportunity to show that she's not messy and loyal, because she always knew about David having an affair, and she never spilled. Even when Shannon showed up at her door, which I remember, was that Heather's first season?
I'm not sure. 2014. We would have to look into it, and I remember
it was like. I remember Heather and Terry were living in like that rental, and that's where she kicks Shannon out or whatever. But anyways, I like remember that vividly, being like, "Holy shit!" Like, she's telling her to get out, or maybe it was Shannon's first season.
Yeah, I'd have to go back into the OC archives for that one. But I wanted to say, I think Heather has only lied once in her life on this show, and it's just about the Disneyland thing. But other than that, I really do trust Heather pretty much. Completely about anything that she says.
I also love when, I mean, this is on the next episode, but it's about Disneyland or whatever, but Katie's like, you swore on your kids and you lied. And Heather goes, how dare you?
Hell has not opened up a level that could compare with what you just did. And you said that. I think Heather swore on our kids. I think she committed a what's that? A horrible cardinal sin. I think she's taken that one to the grave, which is
to the conclave.
To the conclave.
The only thing I feel like we kind of brushed over, but like it's not that relevant, but the like underlying piece is that apparently who Shannon called to dig the dirt was Taylor Armstrong's husband, who's a lawyer, and Tamra was doing due diligence on the side. She's like, I called Taylor last night. She confirmed everything. And apparently the lawyer husband was like, I'm not getting mixed up in all this.
John said, I know I practice law, but I can't go anyone near something like this. Gina lifting Travis over her head and throwing him down the stairs.
But yeah, I do like the fact that she gets pulled into it, like sets a time and place, and then on the next episode there's some cameos that like I kind of like when it's proven that the world exists at all times, you know, whether or not they're on camera.
Yes. Yeah, it's still going on. So do you think we have permission to move forward onto the season finale, which is called Unfinished Business?
Yeah. We can skip right through the fact that it begins with axe throwing, because I'm like, literally, like, just go sit on like a patch of grass. Like, why do you have to do this?
Seriously. It's like there are 10 things that the producers of every franchise will have them do: pickleball, axe throwing, massage, what's the medium? Mystery. Murder Mystery, Great Gatsby, and then Sex Game.
Yes.
So this was, I was like, wow, axe throwing for this. And then it's been 9 days since Shannon left them abruptly. I was like, whoa, what happened to these 9 days? Like,
Yeah, wow.
Shannon left, she quit the show, and they had to like bring her back. But we find out in those 9 days, Jen went to the wonderful, beautiful Bahamas, and Ryan said, will thee be my wedded wife at some point in the future? He got down on one knee and he proposed to Jen Padranti.
She's thrilled. Everyone at least is in this moment when they find out happy for her or acting happy for her. They're not being annoying.
No, Emily goes, I've come full circle on Ryan, just like you and I have. She goes, there might be a couple of red flags that keep popping up, but for the most part, I think he loves her, and this is good. And then I think Shannon says, look at you, all these people talking shit about Ryan and the FBI, and you're the one who gets engaged. Amazing.
You proved them all wrong.
Yeah, and then Emily throws like the best axe I've ever seen. It goes right into the bullseye.
Yes.
But
I guess I didn't realize that we're meant to believe that Jen and Alexis are this close, but Alexis is planning the bridal shower engagement party, I guess.
Yes.
And she pitches a dorky bridesmaid dress theme.
Yep.
Which, to cut ahead, she does not honor herself.
No, she did the thing where you want to make everybody look like shit, and then you stand out looking absolutely gorgeous. And then you say, oh, I thought I was doing the theme, but...
It's literally her party.
Yeah. We can skip over, but Alexis comes over to Tamara. We already kind of highlighted this, but Alexis comes over to Tamara's house. She's got a huge box of Clorox with a bunch of ribbon all over it, or confetti. And she goes, Tamara, the reason I brought this is because we have shit that's going to pour out of our mouths, so let's clean it up with this. And Tamara goes, wow, that sounds
like,
great.
I love you. And then this is where Tamara tries to take the POV that Shannon is trying to ruin her relationship with Jen.
Right.
And I'm like, you ruined your relationship with Jen. Like, you talk shit about her every day of the week. Like,
Right.
What are you talking about?
It's like, we were great. Tamara's like, me and Jen were really good. It's like, you were horrible. You're always awful to her. She's your punching bag for 2 seasons. You take advantage of her. You treat her like shit. You were not on the path to a wonderful friendship with Jen at all. But yeah, Tamara does have a halfway through this episode, she's like, I'm not drinking anymore. I'm finally revealing that Shannon has been the one who's been behind the scenes as an evil force, making me do everything. And then this episode has the classic structure of just a little bit of garbage in the front, and then let's get to this tacky bridesmaids party at this wonderful venue that Alexis Bellino is throwing for Jen. They've got a wall of Malibu rum.
Yes.
And
we didn't point out that when they went to that pub in London, she was like, do you guys have Malibu? And they like looked at the wall. There was like a dusty spider web bottle of Malibu at the top. And she was like, hell yeah.
She goes, it tastes just like the Malibu at home. And she goes, what am I going to do? Order a Guinness here? And I was like, you've never heard the word Guinness pronounced?
Yeah. So yeah, mini Malibu bottles. Shannon and Vicky arrived together, which gotta say, always happy to have Vicky in the mix.
Yeah, Shannon is doing so nice she has to do it twice. The same no wrinkle routine that she did, I think, earlier this season. She goes, I don't want wrinkles, and so she sits on her back.
Like,
and
you're crazy. They're like, oh.
Oh, then a blast from the goddamn past.
God.
Joe De La Rosa Gray, who's now been married. She goes, I have to be here at an OC party. We like to pull people back from the past. I'm not sure for what reason, to what end. She didn't really do anything.
I saw her in downtown LA like 2 years ago, and I was so starstruck. I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, she's the, like, real, I mean, Vicky's the OG of the OC, but she's OG.
Yeah, so OG. She was at BravoCon. Remember, they did that panel of like the OGs from the past. So she kind of got back in the Bravo ether. I remember when I watched OC for the first time, the most powerful scene that I ever saw was the Slade Joe breakup. I don't know if you remember. They go to this beautiful restaurant and they have the most real conversation I've ever seen. And I was like, damn, OC is hitting hard with this.
She like keeps getting up from the table.
Yeah, and
like
runs away. Yeah, I was like, that was an iconic scene. So good to see Joe Joe doesn't really do much. I guess
But
Alexis
she
is.
does tie in. We find out that Joe used to work for Ryan. Like,
Yeah.
must have been, she said she was 23, which is, I think, around how old she was on season one. So it was she
Yeah.
just worked, is he like on season one? Like,
Yeah. At Country Suites and Inn. No,
interesting.
I'm just kidding. I don't know
Well,
if I could.
I tried like three times to rewind to hear what she said, and I couldn't
I think it
understand.
was like an insurance company or
It
something.
sounded
Or
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's a little bit of if my notes are correct, everyone is arriving, and when Heather comes in with whoever she's standing with, Matt and Katie are going out, and Heather goes, "I just received the snub of my life." She goes, "I don't know this man, Matt, but he just snubbed the shit out of me." And then I kind of like this like party etiquette comedy of manners or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Matt goes, "I just got the snub of my life. Woo! Is there a cold breeze in here? Because Heather just snubbed the absolute shit out of me." And Katie goes, "Don't bother with that. That's how Heather treats everyone, like shit."
Right. I know. I was like watching it. It didn't give like major snub. It was kind of just like whatever. I'm like, yeah, like she doesn't like you.
Yeah, and I loved this moment. They're kind of all milling about. Not much is happening. They're kind of just enjoying the party. But someone goes, "Is there any food? I'm so hungry." And Shannon goes, "No." Or someone goes, "No, I don't think there's any food." And Shannon goes, "Leave it to Alexis to throw a cheap party with no food."
That's insane.
Yeah, no
No
food.
food at all.
No food at all. You have to have at least something. Cheese,
That's crazy.
bread.
But yeah, it's the Joe gets introduced to that Matt guy who is the one that's in trouble with the FBI, and apparently it turns out, since I don't even know, well, I guess he's there because he's a good friend of Ryan. But apparently, Matt, Katie's husband, was so scared to be implicated with this man that he like cowered in the hallway.
Because the other Matt is like on the run, waiting for the FBI to bust him down. So
They
I
like
love
wouldn't
that.
really show him.
No, who? The Matt boy.
Matt, like they showed him like from behind, and they did show him, but it was kind of like it looked like they like didn't want to like fully engage or something.
Yeah, but he's got that gallows humor. He's like yeah. He's like, they're coming for me pretty soon. He goes, money laundering. The government doesn't like that kind of stuff. I also want to say that Heather gave herself permission to get drunk as hell. I think she felt very free, and she knew it was the finale, and she knew that even off kilter Heather, she could do no wrong. She had a great season, I think. So she's just drunk, and I've never seen Heather drunk, and you can actually see that Heather's personality shifts a little bit after 3 espresso martinis or whatever she drank. And one of my favorite moments, my second favorite moment, is when Heather goes, "I'm giving out kisses," and she gives a kiss to Terry, and then she goes over and plops a huge kiss on Eddie's mouth.
I missed that.
It was awesome. It was awesome. I watched it. I watched it twice. She gives Terry a kiss, and then she goes right over and gives Eddie a huge kiss on the lips. And then Emily goes, "Are we giving out kisses like that?" And then Emily goes in because she's drunk as hell, and she kisses Eddie on the lips, and then kisses Terry sort of on the
Yeah.
the cheek, the mouth.
Emily was fucked up.
Yeah, Emily was so drunk. So I thought that was great. Yeah.
Yeah, we get Emily confronts Katie while she still can form a thought about the babysitting stuff.
Yes.
And this is where we get a clip of
This is it.
Katie's son also talking
Yes.
shit about Heather.
This was the smoking gun. This was it. This was the smoking gun. This was the reveal of the century, of the season for me, because I fully believed Katie. Then Katie goes, Emily goes, my kids told me that Kylie told them. Kylie said, "There's a mean person in this group. It's Heather." And the boys go, "Mommy, why is Heather so mean? Kylie told us that." And then Katie goes, "Can I tell you from my point of view?" Kylie said she bonded with them, or we see in the confessional that Kylie said, "I bonded with those boys after how bad Heather was, or something like that. But then they show that clip because Katie goes, I would never, my 20-year-old doesn't lie. If you were telling my 6-year-old something, maybe he wouldn't know what the hell he was talking about, or I would never say anything like that. And then they roll the footage, and I've never seen anything like it. His name is Bandon,
Yeah.
little 6-year-old boy. He's at dinner with Matt and Katie, and he goes, was Heather mean to you again today, Mommy? Has she been mean to you again for the millionth time? And then Katie is putting her face in her mashed potatoes going, oh my God, my son is saying this on camera. So it's true that Katie does talk shit about Heather all the time in her household.
Yeah.
So then it blows up my theory that Katie is innocent in this thing. I think it's quite possible that Kylie introduced the mean Heather narrative into the Emily babysitting. Is that what you think?
Right. I mean, I'm just like, but it also felt like, what are the odds? I mean, I guess kids say the darndest thing. Like, maybe he was just trying to like be like, this is a funny, like, no, like something I shouldn't be saying, but it's funny to say. But it also felt like convenient.
No. Wait, no. Wait, convenient.
Like, I mean, I guess it.
I crashed something too. Wait, convenient,
like she, I don't know. I guess it's like, do you think she actually didn't want him saying that?
No, yeah, I think so. I think that Katie actually did let some anti-Heather slander into her family discourse, and Bandon heard about it, and little kids, they just said, you just said. I mean, if there's an empire built on it, that saying the darndest stuff. I think he's repeating stuff he heard in the house, like that Heather has been mean to his mom, and now it's more believable to me that Kylie heard maybe one thing that the Simpson boys said, and rolled with it and added more anti-Heather fodder to that side of things. I mean, it just went from being, I don't believe Emily at all, I do think those kids talk shit about Heather, to now being like, no, Katie, I know now that you talk shit about Heather in your household. So Katie is to me, not in the clear anymore. It's very possible that she did create this Kylie narrative. Right.
Speaking of their household, Matt becomes involved at the party. Shannon is like,
this is my favorite scene. This is my favorite scene. I want to set it up.
Used.
I absolutely love it. If you wrote it down, you tell me. But I think it's the miscommunication of the season. It is so funny to me. So yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, Shannon is like, for once, I am setting up healthy boundaries in my life. I always say I'm going to leave and then I come back, but this time I am going to leave. So she like storms through the party. She runs into Matt, Katie's husband, which like for a second I was like, that's who that is, right? Because Shannon's calling for someone else, like Steve or something.
Yes.
But then she runs into Matt and I was like, wait. And I was like, okay, that's him.
Well, she barely knows Matt at all.
Yeah.
Like, she's probably met him once. And Matt, you said he was trying to get away from the other Matt who's going to get him thrown in prison if he's next to him as an accomplice or whatever. So he's very confused why Shannon is talking to him.
Right.
That's what was so funny to me.
Caught off guard.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's like spouting off. I don't know if she just like needed someone to communicate to get her point across for the camera, but like, yeah, she's spouting off to him about how like she's setting boundaries, she's leaving and not coming back, like everyone's so cruel to her, whatever. And I think he's she goes, she's venting to him about her philosophy about the show. He has no clue what she's talking about. He's probably never talked to Shannon in his life, maybe once. And she goes, when I say I'm done now, I mean it. And Matt goes, then maybe it's time, to walk away. I mean, because I care about you and you've been kind to me. And Shannon goes, see, now that angers me that you said it, because you don't know me at all. And I am probably the strongest person here in this group. And then Matt goes, then why are you here with me now, telling me that you're melting down? And Shannon goes, are you trying to argue with me right now? And Matt goes, you just tried to argue with me. You're the one here. I'm just standing here by myself. So I think that Shannon thought that he said,
why don't you walk away? He meant wistfully, poetically, metaphorically, walk away from something that's hurting you. And I think Shannon, in sort of a drunken rage, thought that he meant walk away from me in this
Right.
conversation right now because we're getting an argument. But Shannon completely misunderstood what he was trying to say and
I
ignored him.
will say his vibe was hard to read. Like, I think because he was confused, he was kind of like, all right, like, then, like, go. Like, I felt like, I don't know, like, because of her reaction, I was, like, confused on how to read what he was saying. Like, I, I couldn't tell. But I'm like, maybe this, because then Shannon afterwards, like, does circle back and ends up telling Katie, like, you can't believe what your husband just said to me. It was very inappropriate. And I'm like, do you think that's giving Joel Kim Booster some credence?
Yes, unfortunately, yes. And then the way Shannon kind of screamed at the crew member when she took her mic off in the last episode when she goes, "I'm done." And I was like, "Oh boy, come on, Shannon, don't talk to crew members like that. It's not their
Yeah,
fault that you're being filmed on a reality show."
right.
I thought Shannon completely misunderstood and misconstrued what he said, and I thought it was even worse that she said to Katie that you can't believe the despicable things that your husband just said to me. And then she tries to recreate what the fight was, and she goes, "He told me to walk away." It's like, I swear he meant metaphorically walk away. He was giving you the permission to do what you said you were going to do, which is to say, "I'm done and I'm leaving." And
Right.
she just misunderstood him because she was like misunderstood him because she was like in an argumentative mood.
Right. Okay, then we get it doesn't really turn into anything, but we get what you think for a second could be a Jared Osmond moment
Yeah.
with Johnny J turning up, but it turns out it's just to pick up Alexis. Like, he doesn't really get into the mix.
He does get out though.
Yes,
And
he
he's
wants
dressed
to be seen for sure.
he is dressed exactly like if you Googled Johnny Depp. If you Googled Johnny Depp outfit, 2010 or something,
Uh-huh.
or I don't know, but that's what Johnny J was giving to me. And he gets out of the car and he gives Alexis a huge hug. And then
Yeah.
everybody finds out that Johnny J is there, and that's when they do a little. Emily and Gina decide to peek over the wall and look at Johnny J as he is arriving.
Yes. And Shannon takes it pretty well. She's just like, she has taken my problems away by taking, like, dating him instead or whatever. And then we get the classic OC finale update guitar.
Yeah.
The, like, I love that.
Yeah. Then Shannon goes. Shannon's like, Johnny J. Will have do nothing more to me ever again. And then we get these, I thought, pretty awful looking Instagram title cards or
Hard to
finale
read.
title cards. They looked really bad, recreating Instagram posts. No offense to whatever editor
Minors.
created that, but yeah, and it's just like I mean, no huge major updates in any of these
No, but they
credits.
did let Johnny J get kind of like the last word. Like, he got a confessional at the very end of the episode, which I'm like, that's annoying.
He
But
says
yeah, go ahead.
he says what his is it modus operandi was this entire season. He goes, Shannon told me she loved me more than anyone in the world, and then she desecrated my name. So all I wanted to do this season was clear my name and regain my innocence back. So that's why you saw Johnny J so many times this season.
Right. And then we get, like, you think the episode's over because usually those update cards are the very end. But I assume it felt like this was like a pick up the cameras posthumously situation, because it goes 3 weeks later, splash across the headlines. Ryan implicated in this Otani betting scandal or whatever,
Yeah.
which was like huge news in general. But so obviously they were like, fuck, we have to cover this.
This must have been weighing on Otani's mind during the World Series. I think
Yeah,
he was
that's why he
really
didn't really get any home runs.
he was really thinking probably
He
about
was like,
this.
fuck, that episode airs this week.
He's like, shit, I'm not gonna be able to play good at all during the World Series. I hope nobody's disappointed watching me for the first time. Yeah. But this whole thing, I'm just gonna say it now. We have this undercut. I have this Impact undercut because Ryan threatened to sue Tamra for defamation just a few weeks ago, saying Tamra spread vicious, despicable lies about me, and if she doesn't stop, I'm going to sue her. So it's like Ryan must be in the clear here. So kind of ruined by the real-time, real-life effects of watching the show. You know,
Right.
we know he was not accused of this, but they
Right.
really, but it sends the OC spiraling for a few scenes.
And even, at the end, it gives the update, like, he was not, like, indicted for anything, but his friend that we met faces
Matt.
up to 18 years.
Oh, could you imagine getting that sentence?
Woo!
18 years in prison. Oh, I would be on the best behavior they have ever seen.
You would do full Menendez.
I would be. The Menendez brothers would look like vicious killers compared to me in my cell. I'd be like, "Does anyone need help? Can I help anyone?" What?
You're like, I'm teaching writing courses in the cafeteria.
When's the parole board meeting again? Does anybody see what good behavior I'm doing? Horrible. Do you think money laundering should be a crime?
Money's fake, so launder it.
Yeah, right. I agree. We've already talked about this. Financial crimes don't really get me worked up. I'm kind of like get away with whatever you can financially.
I do think this is a talk for another day, but I think sports betting is about to become like a real problem.
Why or how?
It's become like so mainstreamed, like all the online and the apps, and like every podcast I listen to is like advertising sports betting and stuff, and I'm like, this is gonna like take so many people down, like all their money.
Yeah, White Sox. That happened back in the day, if I remember correctly. Speaking of World Series, you're right.
In your Bill Bryson book.
Yep, he told me all about it. I'm loving Bill Bryson nowadays.
But yeah, basically, it's funny because you can tell they would have made such a meal of this if it happened earlier, but there's like no time to go. So they're just like, have Tamra, Emily, Heather, and Alexis go out and talk about it. Tamra gets her prop FBI hat. Jen, Katie, and Gina meet up, and they're like, girl, like, this is unhealthy. Like, you're in the line of fire. You need to protect yourself and your kids. Jen is sobbing. She's like, I fucked everything up. And I feel so bad for her.
Yeah. But it's all in the time of like where we think possibly Ryan is going to be going to jail, for 18 years as well. So it's a little deflated by the actual reveal that Ryan is completely innocent and exonerated of all charges. Yeah. I do give Tamra credit, prop wise. I don't know how good this season was in terms of props. I don't really remember any standouts, but I will say I had a smile on my face for Tamra putting on an FBI hat. It's just so irreverent and mean that I was like, I'll give it to you. That's a pretty decent prop, putting on an FBI hat, even though she's ultimately wrong. Yeah,
I just like that it was like kind of a mind fuck, because you think the episode's over. Then it's like 3 weeks later, but you're looking at the ticker on the screen and you're like, they only have like 3 minutes left. Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah. It seemed like they were going to make more of it. And then Gina is kind of like her ending salvo is like, Jen is just now realizing that she fully blew up her life for this shitty guy. And then it's like, well, no, Ryan's, not as shitty as you think. He just hangs out with that guy who's horrible.
Right. Yeah. But it's entertaining, and I think the reunion there's so many nitpicky things that have come up that are like game of telephone or like plotting against someone that's perfect fodder for the reunion. So I think it'll be 3 parts, obviously, and like chock full.
Yeah. Otani stuff for sure. And you'll
be like, come on out, Shohei.
Yeah. Oh my God, that would be so cool. Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
Like on the stool behind the couch, like the husbands do.
Yeah. He's like, they like edit in that he apologizes for his performance of the World Series. They add extra footage. That would be amazing. That kind of stuff. I'm excited to get to the bottom of Babysitter Gate, because maybe Katie could be exonerated, possibly.
Do you think he'll bring her out?
Who?
They've brought
Kylie.
They've brought out Vicky's daughter before.
Yeah, possibly.
Girth Brooks.
Oh, possibly. Yep. Yeah, and I want to say I liked Sophia's song. They kind of do a little like check in on like the resolution
Kids.
of all these storylines or whatever. And Sophia was blasting this song on Bandcamp for Tamara, and Tamara goes, "Oh my God, this fucking hits!
Yeah.
Thank you, Sophia, for showing this to me. I actually thought it was
Cool.
decent."
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should find it. But yeah, overall, great season. Because yeah, this was episode 17, I think. It
Yeah.
was like a lengthy season, so with the reunions, it'll be a long,
Well,
good, healthy season.
very healthy. 20 episodes probably. Yeah, I like this season too. I think it's a solid, I think it's a solid 7.5 in my mind out of 10. Not
Yeah.
depending on what happens to the reunions, they could be amazing. I mean,
Right.
not a masterpiece, but great and fun to watch and fun to talk about for me.
Agreed. So yeah, that was fun. I am headed to the Dodger parade. I hope there's no crazy acts of violence.
Oh, I've been looking at the stuff. There's some horrifying stuff still coming out on the news. It looks like the Purge anarchy. People on rooftops declaring that
my
they
God.
owned different stores and
What's
it's
that called? Something law.
what's it called? Is it? It's not. I don't want to say the wrong thing. And when you say I own this now, when
Yeah.
you if you declare ownership, it's like if you I don't know some legal. We have a lot of
Something law.
amazing legal scholars where if you get in there, and
Martial law?
martial law is when the military takes over. But I think if you go into a store like the Gap or whatever, and you throw the manager out, and you're there for at least 24 hours, you get to declare that you own the Gap. It's like yeah, you know what I mean. It's like
Have you seen the TikToks of girls being like, it'll be like a soldier coming home, and the girl being like, no, 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 I know my Third Amendment rights. You can't enter.
really? Oh, right. They say that.
It's like a trend, yeah.
Oh, that is so fun. No militia man should have
May
quarter within
enter.
my home.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. I love the Third Amendment. Okay, well, we said we were only going to do an hour, so I just want to say the last stuff. I'll say the Patreon one.
Okay.
If for some reason you said, "Whoa, oh, wow, the double decker." 2 episodes on the same day, and also they talked about 2 episodes of the OC, and it's right after the finale. I haven't even watched it yet. I liked this, but is there any more? I mean, I got a lot today, but is there any more? Well, yes, there is. On Patreon, there's a Turtle Time Patreon, and when you pledge us $5 a month, you instantly become a Villa Rosa VIP, one of the most cherished people in the universe. We have Villa Rosa VIPs that are with us now, commenting, having so much fun, and Amy and I, have been recapping Vanderpump Rules from Season 1, Episode 1, and we are all the way up to almost the end of Season 5. I mean, we're bordering on probably 90 episodes now, 85, 90. So if you paid $5, you get access to the entire archive, and we would hope that you would just keep paying us, forever. But that's the Patreon, and it's a wonderful experience where you can join us for discussions about each episode, and it's just a wonderful, vibrant community, and we absolutely love all of our Villa Rosa VIPs with all of our hearts.
It's true. I think it's totally worth it. Yeah, it's a fun place to be.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's exactly like this Turtle Time, except Amy and I are even more unencumbered, and we're only talking about one thing, Vanderpump Rules, which we both love. So,
Yes.
hope that's a good pitch.
Yeah, join us. Until next time, enjoy this bonus episode and have a good weekend.
Yeah, and now the only anxiety that Amy and I have is what the hell are we going to title this thing?
Something simple.
Great. Sounds good. Okay. All right. If you like this episode, please rate and review and subscribe, because that helps Amy and I get to the top of the Bravo charts. It's something that we absolutely love, and we read every review, unless they're mean. I can't look at those. But anyway, have a great day. Amy, have fun at the Dodger Parade, and I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend.
Bye.
Bye.